What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Greatsword. Probably I don't know, between the Greatsword and pistols, I've honestly been really enjoying both in PvP and V Rising. They've both been really good additions, but today we're going to be talking about a Greatsword build, Greatsword builds, what I think are the best ones you can run, at least to get started. Again, these are made with the idea of focusing on a few weapons. I know some people like to go every single weapon, no matter if it's duels or not duels. I do the same on dueling servers, and I get as many weapons as I can on non-dueling servers, but this is a build with the primary focus of your greatsword being like a main weapon, and then other weapons kind of being additions. I'll kind of walk through which ones, if you want to build up some extras, I would recommend. So to get started, we'll go over the Greatsword abilities, and then we'll go over some spell combos, what I like, and then some gems and jewels I recommend for that. So without further ado, let's get into it. To get started, the Greatsword abilities, of course, you have the 3 auto attack combo. You have 1, 2, 3. They're very kind of hefty, but they hit hard, a little slow, but again, hit hard. And then your Q, Great Cleaver, you charge forward and swing your Greatsword upward, dealing 150% physical damage in the area and launching enemies into the air for 0.75 seconds. So this is what it looks like. A good thing to know about the Greatsword Q is the hitbox goes further than you think. You'll see kind of like skid marks after I go, but the indicator is there. You can see like up to here, it will kind of go and actually hit. So as long as there's like a little cone in front of it, it will also knock them up. It doesn't have to be exactly on the indicator. It goes a little bit past that. Going into the Greatsword E, we have Death from Above. You leap into the air and descend upon your enemy, dealing 100% physical damage in an area. This is an iframe, so you can use it to dodge abilities and effects if you wish, but this is what it looks like. So you don't really move or anything. It kind of stands down. You see like a thin cone that comes out, but you're able to dodge if you so wish to use it. I honestly would recommend using your E for other abilities unless you really need an iframe. But if you're running pistols as well, the pistol E iframe is kind of better. So we'd probably just recommend swapping the pistols if you need an iframe for that, but it is there as an option if you need. Now, for the first build I'm going to cover, we'll be using Veil of Storm, Void, and Discharge. These abilities really combo well together. I really love Void and Greatsword. It has really great synergy, as when you Void someone, it will pull them in, and that makes an easy lineup for your Void to hit. So I pull, I see they're coming in, and I line it up, and that's a free knock-up. And if I do it far enough back, if they're like dead in the center, then they will land in the fire right there. But either way, we'll run Veil of Storm, which you dash through, etc. You get increased attack speed, which is really nice, so you can get some autos out with the Greatsword, which really hurt if you got good attack speed going, especially with like Rogue Blood for the crits. Your next primary attack deals bonus damage and inflicts static. Dashing through an enemy also inflicts static. So this is really nice. You can dash your enemies to get static. You have increased attack speed. You can get some autos down. And this really pairs well with the jewel that we are running. Now, the jewel we're running, you can see here, increases elude duration, which is nice to be able to dodge better. Increases damage on the next primary attack, and consumes static to stun the target. So if we dash through someone to inflict static, we can then swing our sword and stun them. They'll take a good chunk of damage from that, and then when they're stunned, you see this one is for 0.6 seconds. If we're able to, you can swap to slashers and stun them real fast. If not, you can get a couple autos down. It's also good to know that this can go the other way, and it doesn't interrupt. So if you were to use slashers, for instance, and stun someone, you can dash through him again for another stun into a Greatsword Q or a Spear Q. And then, like I said, with the Void, we'll be running that. It's really nice as it offers AoE. It ignores almost every barrier and counter. The only thing it doesn't ignore would be like ice block, but otherwise any barrier they use, no ice barrier, unholy barrier, or chaos barrier, or if they use like a counter like discharge or mistrance or blood right, it ignores that and will still hurt them. It'll interrupt their cast and everything. And again, it pulls them in, and then with the jewels that we get, it does even more. These are why it's very meta. It kind of counters a lot of like defensive meta. And then additionally, with these jewels, we have an increased range by 16%, so we can get it even farther. It spawns 3 exploding fragments, dealing 18% damage and inflicting ignite, and then flames engulf the area, dealing 13% damage up to 3 times to enemies in the area. So like you can see here, it pops like normal, except now there's fire, and it goes out, and then we can get pretty far with it. Most of this range is also roughly within Greatsword range, so we go here. That will knock him up. So even with the increased range, at worst, you might need to step a little bit, but overall, you can really line it up. they get in, knock them, and then as they're pulled in, you Q in and knock them up, and they'll sit in the fire damage and take damage off of that. Additionally, with this, the other ability for this specific build is Discharge. You block melee and projectile attacks. You turn immaterial and travel to your cursor location. Passing through the enemy deals damage, inflicts static, and launches them in the air. This is really nice because if you get it off and you get launched into the air, you have two options. You can either use your axes to get an end cap off while they're in the air, or realistically use your slashers. You go sit under them invisible, and you can tell which direction they're most likely to jump. So you sit there invisible. When they jump, you can go and stun them. They do have a second here, the dash away, but if you do that, it burns a dash. If they're not running Chaos Dash, and immediately after, you go and hit. If you miss, you can immediately Q, hit them, knock them up, and keep your combo going. So it's a really nice combo. Offers a great defensive, allows you to maneuver around and really kind of set up your greatsword Qs into the stuns. And also, if you're able to actually get the combo off with the end cap after they land, then you could swap the spear and do a spear Q for easy damage. So with the greatsword with this build, I think the primary ones like every build should focus on, but especially with the greatsword, is you want slashers so you can get the easy, in close to personal end cap, because you can Q in and then go slashers and try end cap. The spear is really nice because it will deal more damage if you do end cap them to follow up instead of the greatsword, but you don't have to run the spear. You could also just stick with greatsword only, and after you get a stun off, you can just greatsword Q them if you wish, but the spear will do a little bit more. The axes you'll use for the long range end cap with X strike, and then the pistols are good just for as you maneuver around the fight. You could do this and then use the E iframe to roll if you so wish. So those are the four weapons I'd recommend at least trying to run some of them with the greatsword, but this is build number 1. Real fast, actually, because I forgot to mention jewels. For the discharge one, I recommend the travel effect triggers once more. You need this for PvP, as if they dodge the first one, you can hit them with the second one. And I like using consume stack to charge your weapons, just in case you get that off. Or the increased movement speed while channeling is also nice to kind of be able to maneuver around. If they are baiting it, then you can at least move around faster and kind of help channel it better. For ultimates, I run Raging Tempest with this, as I think it's really strong and just plays well with the static you already are using. And then for Amulet, I recommend Crimson Commander just for the bonus physical power, as that's going to really help your weapon abilities just pop off a bit more. Another combo I highly recommend is Veil of Chaos, Soul Burn, and then Chaos Volley or anything else you really want to run here. It could be another defensive or not. The key one is going to be the Soul Burn with the Q, as when you Greatsword Q in on someone, when they're launched in the air, you can actually pop Soul Burn while they're in air. And then when they land, if they try to dash out or do anything, they'll get the silence. And so you can really easily just engage, Soul Burn, and if they try to get silenced, you can go to another combo. Chaos Volley works really well with this, as it just offers long range. If you get two like defensive plus Soul Burn, then it can kind of get hard to have any kind of long range capability. But this is a really good combo as well to get the silence off and then have some type of damage. It is no defensive, so I run Veil of Chaos just so I have the 2 dashes, as it helps me kind of like dodge around everything. But this is another really good combo that you can run with this. And with this one, I would actually run Heart Strike instead. But for the jewels, Veil of Chaos, I like the increased illusion duration, inflicts a fading snare when the illusion explodes, and increased damage done when the illusion explodes. So you can really play aggressive with this one, as you kind of go in, soul burn and everything, and if you need to, you can dash, and then this boy right here will pop, and if they're near it while silenced, it'll snare. If you have to like bounce back for any reason or anything, kind of help you, play around with that. For soul burn, I like the removes all negative effects, as that really just helps, and then the increased life drain and silence. Get some more health back, increase the silence by 0.8 seconds. That's what this one is. So that's a 3.3 second silence on them if they react, which most people just instinctually do after being knocked up by the Greatsword Q. So they'll be silenced, they'll be taking more damage, you'll be removed any negative effects. If you had like burn on you or something, it's no longer there. It's a really good ability to kind of engage with this combo and then do whatever you want, with whatever other abilities you have. And then with Chaos Volley, for this one specifically, I run the increased damage, hitting a different target with the second projectile deals 30% additional damage and reduces cooldown by 11%. So those are the ones I would recommend. And lastly, this is another build. I actually talked about this build in my pistols video. This is purely duels, 1v1s. You could do this in open world. It wouldn't be terrible in open world, but I would not recommend this build in like any group setting. This is a bit more of a meme build, but also fun. This is a pure attack speed, getting your greatsword to hit heavy. You'll be running Veil of Storm for the increased attack speed. you'll be running Blood Rage for the increased attack speed, the leech on nearby enemies, and then Power Surge for the increased movement speed and attack speed. And you'll also be running some jewels with this. The store one is the same one for the stun because that helps you kind of just stick on people. For Blood Rage, I like inflicting a fitting snare for the same reasons, kind of make them harder for them to kite you as you would just be running at them. And then that also shields yourself. And then for the Power Surge, the shield, increased physical damage output, and increased duration of the effect. This is a really good jewel right here for this build. But basically, it's very simple. You dash in, Blood Rage, Power Surge, and look how much faster the autos are. It's almost about like twice as fast, if not. Check out the pistols video. I actually broke down the numbers on exactly how much faster and how much damage output this has increased. But you usually play this with pistols because you can kind of use that to roll out, you know, engage in, dash, Blood Rage, stun, and just bam, 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 bam. And if they go to respond to it, you can pop the iframe, kite back until, just like this, your abilities are back up, and you can stick on them like this. It's a very fun build, but I wouldn't recommend anything other than duels. But yeah, those are my kind of favorite, what I view as some of the best kind of greatsword focused builds. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you like these or not. If you have any other builds you would recommend. And of course, like this comment, like and subscribe, all of that. And follow me at twitch.tv/Redlaf for more V Rising streams. And with that, I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.